when you're going through these stressful times, some days seem like the longest days, and sometimes you feel like everything's unfair, and you doubt yourself, and you feel like you're being punished, and you feel like you're unlucky. And because I think most people out there feel more unlucky than lucky. Hello, all you Soulful Intuitives, and welcome back. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Today, my partner and I were talking about how lucky we feel at times, or actually he asked me, do you feel lucky? And he was talking about certain things, about where we live, and how we found each other, and just, the ups and downs of life that happens to all of us, and how after a period of hardship, there was a resolution for most of them. And it actually got me thinking, because I remember many years ago, Oprah was talking about what luck is, or maybe she read it off of the book, or maybe she had a guest. I don't remember, because it was a long time ago. And she basically explained luck as when preparation meets opportunity. And basically it kind of makes luck something that you can be in charge of by preparing. So, I mean, it kind of made sense back then when I was maybe 10 years younger. I don't think that it resonates with me anymore, because let's say when you go to a casino and then you win big, did you prepare for it? What opportunity, aside from just coming up with the right numbers, or, playing with the right machine. So I don't really see that. Or when you buy lottery, what preparation went there? Or when you meet someone. I guess when you meet someone, I can only talk from my own experience that, like the way we met was very unusual. We met in where I live in Vancouver, and he was visiting from the States because it was Pride weekend. And the venue he was at, I would never go to that venue, especially during Pride, because it would get really busy. And a coworker of mine invited me there, and the rest is history, because that coworker of mine had met him at another club the night before, so he already knew of him. And then the night that I went with my coworker, he basically walked up to my coworker and started talking to me, and so it kind of went from there. So it was very serendipitous, I guess, if you want to call it that way. But now, talking about how that happened, if you want to call it luck, but I had been writing in my journal, in my intention book, in my on my visualization board, I had pictures of two guys holding hands, and I have put like the word love above them. And anytime that I would flip through a magazine and had a picture of like a happy family, I would tear that up too. And not to mention that when I was in my early 20s, I was in one of these classes, and they said you need to like write everything down as if you're ordering it through a factory, and then put a mustard seed at the end, tape it, and sign it. And that's your order to the universe. So I guess that was preparation, but then that was done 10 years before this happened. So I guess, from then till when we met, I met others, and maybe through experiencing what I didn't like about them, I became more and more clear about what I wanted to have and what I wanted to attract. So I guess preparation, I can explain it like that. So like mentally prepare for it, and also energetically prepare for it, emotionally prepare for it, and then let the universe bring it about. So, ask and bask and let the how, wow, which is like my favorite thing. And I don't even know um, who said it, but it's very catchy. And so, we're also talking about, how we wanted to sell our place and it wasn't selling for a whole year and we were feeling like a failure, because it doesn't matter whether it's your car or your property or your business. Like when people aren't buying it, you just take it personally because you think there's something wrong with it. And even though there's nothing wrong with it. So, and then we were so frustrated and we were so upset that this wasn't selling, and it took a year, and then and we had like one buyer, that's it, and that buyer bought it, and it just, when we were starting to look, the market flipped around and for the worse, and so then we're no longer able to afford where we were living before, so we had to look outside of that area. And so, which seemed to be a difficult decision to make because we really didn't want to leave that neighborhood because we liked it. We lived there for 10 years, and anyway, but now we live around 20 minutes away from that area, yet we really like it. It's very serene, it's beautiful, it's exactly what we had in mind, because when we were where I was stuck in the house for 2 months during the lockdown, I realized that I need like space, and not like a big space, just a different layout, because our current place is not that much bigger from our older place, but it was very long and narrow and like in 3 floors, and you just kept hitting into the walls, and it was very difficult at like, you'd be there for like 2 or 3 hours and you really wanted to leave because I would see was like walls and hallway and staircase, and very difficult to have like even 4 extra people over. And so through having that, what we didn't like, we started saying, oh, we want like a wider space, we want no walls, we don't want to have 3 stores. Like our calves are killing us just going up and down the stairs for like so many years, and we want to have people over and not worry about them not having anywhere to sit or not bumping into each other or the furniture or the wall. So by experiencing what we didn't like, we got clarity about what we actually did want, and I wrote it down that I wanted to have high ceilings. I wanted to like have privacy, yet I want to see the outside, and I want to like have I want to see the sky, and I want people to look into our house. I want to be able to like sit here with our blinds up. All these things that we couldn't do and we didn't have in our old place. So, and boom, this happened. But it took a while for us, like a year almost, to sell our place, and then it took I would say 2.5 months of like very stressful months to find this place. And then also after we got it, then the process of making it livable, because it was a very, very old house, actually says age unknown on the deed, and make it like livable so we can actually bring our furniture. And so that took a while, of course. I mean, so many ups and downs. So to like reiterate, he asked me, do you feel lucky? And then I had to think that, at the moment, I'm feeling very content that those stressors are gone, that we know that we have a place that we can live in and we can call home. I don't have to worry about like going to bed and not knowing if we're going to be living on the street the next day or not. I don't have to. Just so many things. And when you're going through these stressful times, some days seem like the longest days, and sometimes you feel like everything's unfair, and you doubt yourself, and you feel like you're being punished, and you feel like you're unlucky. And because I think most people out there feel more unlucky than lucky, and when good things happen to them, again, they brush it up as luck, or maybe it's like a fluke that something nice has happened to them. So I'm trying to understand these laws of the universe. I don't even claim to have come close to how they work. I just look at my life, and I look at everybody else's life around me that I'm a part of, and I'm privy to their information, and I just want to know like how law of attraction works, and how intention works, and how the state of flow brings you closer to where you want to be, and how meditation works, and all these seen and unseen rules and laws of this universe. And I follow all these websites like Lee Harris, Next Level Soul, Aubrey Marcus. I listen to so many podcasts about people who've had near-death experiences, people who worked for CIA and MI5, and did remote viewing. And so they're constantly giving you information about like these metaphysical side of our universe that they don't teach us in school. And so my understanding of when Oprah was explaining how luck works was, it was a very tangible, materialistic, very material way, very physical way of explaining luck. But what I was thinking about tonight when my partner asked me that question, I came to realize that, well, I think the preparation isn't always physical. Sure, if you want to land a job as a heart surgeon, you need to go to medical school, you need to then finish your specialty, and then you need to probably do so much extra on top of that to be a surgeon, and to go to so many seminars and work with the best surgeons and work under them. And sure, that's preparation. And then when a really, really good position opens up, and you can apply, and that's an explanation for when preparation meets opportunity. But I don't think that any doctor would say I got lucky because I went to med school, because I think most of them would say, well, I mean, I sacrificed my youth and my teenage years, and I didn't go to parties, and because I have a lot of doctor friends, like that's what they tell you. But so for we looking at how luck works, sure, my partner and I met in a very serendipitous way, but I had already jotted down what is it that I'm looking for. And sure, there were a few things that I had jotted down that turned out to be different. But now when I look back, I had written down what I thought was good for me when I was 20 years old or 19 years old. And so that was according to my mental capacity and my experiences and my understanding of the world. So eventually when it did happen, it was better. And the same thing for, let's say our place. We mentally had clarity, because you need to know what you want and be very clear about it. And so we had clarity, but then the parts that we weren't clear about, or the parts that we thought was very clear and exactly what we wanted that was good for us, ended up being a little hazy, because we said, oh, like we want to have space and privacy and this and that, but like in this neighborhood, but that neighborhood had really high density. We had a lot of very high population, and most homes were like on the street, and they had no privacy. So and then we kept talking about, oh, we want to see trees, and we want to, so we were sending mixed signals. And so that's my understanding of like luck. I guess preparation could be physical and non-physical, and opportunity is when universe delivers to you in a mysterious way, in the how and wow way that we don't need to concern ourselves with, that it will deliver to you whether you like it or not. And then when it happens, you feel lucky. And that feeling of luck is when you're living your dream and you have a moment of like, can I pinch myself, or can you believe it that this is what I visualized, and when I was visualizing it wasn't like this is better than that, or so that's the definition of luck. So I don't know, so luck to me is a bit roll the dice and throw it. Like, that's when I think about people who play and they're always like have the perfect hand. So to me, that's the luck. Like, I don't know, I'm not a card player. Maybe they visualize it beforehand, because I know athletes visualize the game before even the game starts, and they run it through their head as how it's going to play out. So, yeah, this concept of luck, the concept of metaphysical world where, because it's so unseen and everybody has their own experience and everybody has their own stories, and I'm really interested in listening to all of these people to talk about the mysteries in their lives and how things out of nowhere came into fruition and materialized. And so really interesting. And in this beautiful sunny evening, actually no longer sunny, but what's left of it, we were just sitting by the water looking around, and we were just so just amazed and in awe by the beauty of the water and the nature that made us feel lucky, but also made us feel like we need to question and like feel what is it? Do we feel gratitude? Is that like being grateful also part of feeling lucky, or lucky turns to gratitude, or it's a combination, or is there such thing as luck? Or because I've never felt so arrogant in my life to dare to say that I'm in charge, and because that's the illusion of feeling like you have full control. I think at best maybe we're co-pilots with the Mother Divine, with the universe, and we do our part, but there's a big part of it that's done without our knowledge, and to have those moments where you feel like the real pilot, aka universe, and co-pilot you have maybe gone in the same direction and got to the destination that you hoped you would get. Well, I'm going to leave you with those thoughts, and I want you to also think about the moments in your life and the events in your life that have made you feel lucky. And it's very important to keep an inventory of those moments, because the one thing that is constant about life is change, and changes are sometimes hard and difficult and sometimes easy. So when we're going through a difficult change, we tend to forget about how many times things have worked out and made us feel good and made us feel lucky. And if we have an inventory of them, like written down somewhere, that when things get tough, you can just go and flip through that and go through, oh yeah, I remember that, how I felt during that era. I remember what I felt during that incident. I remember how I felt during that tough part of my life chapter. And then remind yourself that as hard as it was, there was light at the end of the tunnel, because that's one of the rules that I know of this vast universe, that there's, for every up there's down, and not in a bad way. Like, I remember when I was young and I would laugh, my grandma would say, oh, just remember, after every cry or tears of laughter, there's tears of crying. And somehow I didn't understand. I thought, oh, that's making you feel guilty for being happy. But what that actually means is, life is a series of ups and downs, so of course when you laugh, then at some point you're going to cry. And when things are easy, at some point things are hard, but it's important to keep an inventory of the resolutions and the outcome, and where you finally land, and where you finally find the solution that you've been waiting for. Um, Call it opportunity, and with all your efforts, tangible, non-tangible, all of it combined together, I guess we call it luck, or we call it manifestation of your dreams. Well, thank you very much for being with us for another episode, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you. Bye.